Teddy. Thank you, Megan and Holly. Now we like to invite our elected official who joined us tonight to introduce themselves. Please share your names, the district or communities you represent, and any thoughts or reflections on the story you believe heard this evening. To ensure we have enough time to hear from everyone, we kindly ask each legislators to keep their remarks to 1 minute. Let's start here, and please pass the mic down.
Is it there? Oh, yeah. Good evening. My name is Claire Wilson. I'm short. And I see people over there. Tall personality, but short. My name is Claire Wilson. I am the senator of the 30th Legislative District, which is in South King County, which includes Federal Way, unincorporated Auburn, Des Moines, half of Des Moines, Algona, Pacific, and a little tiny bit of Kent. What I would say is thank you for your stories tonight. They mean everything. My area of interest especially is early care and education, so ESID and early childhood. The more we do early on, the better our children and our families will be. So I promise you that will continue to be my focus, and just such an incredible group here tonight. And thank you so much for sharing in Vivica Go 30th Legislative District.
Representative Jamila Taylor. I am 30th District State Representative, serving with the Senator Wilson. I am thankful for you all this year. I first and foremost, I want to just thank you all for your grace this summer as I experienced a lot of challenges with the loss of both my parents, the stroke, and all the things in between. But knowing that you all were willing to bear with me as I'm coming back into the work, and knowing that life still lives. Life is life right now. I want to ensure that I've been paying attention on the national level and how those federal impacts are going to change lives here, sometimes for the better, but we must make sure that it is not for the worse. And I know that our colleagues here on the dais are absolutely committed to making sure Washingtonians, everyone in here, is protected from the harms that may come from the decisions that are made in the other Washington. And so I just want to thank you for your time tonight, and we're going to continue to listen. Absolutely want to maintain the momentum that we've had in the development of disability advocacy in Washington State.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Daria Farvar. I'm state representative from the 46th Legislative District in Northeast Seattle, and it is so good to be here with you all tonight. Some of you may know that my roots are in the DD community, and it is just such a warm embrace to be back with all of you. I started my journey at Open Doors. I see many Open Doors volunteers. I spent several years at Disability Rights Washington, working on the intersection of behavioral health, the criminal legal system, and folks experiencing homelessness. And all of those issues are what I take with me into the legislature to work on under two very important values to me. One, the concept of nothing about us without us, listening to folks with direct lived experience, and true choice. And true choice doesn't mean you're choosing between a restrictive environment like an RHC or you're stuck in a hospital. It does not mean that you're choosing between homelessness and a jail cell. It means you have a full spectrum of services and options available to you, and you make a choice based on what's best for you, not based on what's available in the system. I want to thank all of you for coming out tonight, and I would also be remiss if I didn't take an opportunity to remind folks folks to make sure that not only are we advocating in the legislature, but that we're also thinking about one of our most basic forms of advocacy, which is our right to vote. We've had lots of great conversations recently. My table talked a little bit about guardianship and voting, the nuances there. You actually have King County elections outside in the hallway with you tonight, who is actually collecting information on how to make sure it is more accessible for folks to vote. And I know that there are folks in this room who have struggled to access their ballot. I encourage you to go take a chance to go chat with them and give them feedback to improve that system, because without that vote, you can't vote for the fine folks that are up here, and that is the foundation of our advocacy system and our democracy. So thank you for being here tonight.
Well, thank you. Senator Fortunato, 31st Legislative District. My sister had cerebral palsy. So growing up, I know what the stress is in a family of growing up with a disabled child. And my sister had a job, and she used to walk to that job. She had walked with a shuffle. Pushed a shopping cart, she walked to that job, and she earned her own money. She had pride in her work. I remember this, I was like, I don't know, 12, 15 years old. She had her own money, she would buy stuff. But then, she lost her job. She went from walking with a shuffle, to walking with a cane, to walking with a walker, to being in a wheelchair, to dying of diabetes. And I contribute that to her lack of having a job. Having transportation and providing disabled people with that meaningful job to have their own money and own pride and reason for living is extremely important to me. In addition to that, my daughter has two disabled or two autistic children. You know, autistic to the point where if you cut his waffles in rectangles instead of triangles, he won't eat them. But his brother, the younger brother, was supposed to be dead by the time he was 3 years old. He was born with a weird syndrome, I can't remember the name, it's a mile long, where his brain does not tell him to breathe. He needs 24-hour monitoring. He breathes, but if he falls asleep, gets drowsy, his oxygen level goes down, he's going to be hooked up to a ventilator. Somebody has to be there 24 hours a day. That means the doctor says he needs 24 hours of nursing care, but the insurance company only gives him 16. What's that mean to my daughter? Some nights she's staying up 24 hours a day. I have no idea how she's even surviving. So these things that we need, I asked her, I said, I'm going to this disability forum, you know, what do you want me to bring up? Want me to say anything? She goes, I know what the problems are. So I have my own consultant on disability issues, which are near and dear to me. And I heard her encouraging in a vote. As the only Republican on this panel here, I would encourage you to vote the right way. So, thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I am Lisa Callan. I represent the 5th Legislative District, which starts, I'm East King County and Southeast King County. So that's Issaquah all the way up to the top of Snoqualmie Pass, and it's Issaquah all the way down to wonderful Enumclaw, who I got to talk with some folks from Enumclaw tonight, and really appreciate that. One of my, or several areas that I work in the legislature is in the early learning space, and K-12 space. In capital budget, which is a lot of housing and accessible housing and those needs, as well as behavioral health and the co-occurring and complex needs around behavioral health. And so you will see me continuing to dive into that in the legislative session, even practice that kind of legislative session, and really appreciate your voices, your stories, because that's what moves the dial on where we need to go, and recognizing where we are today, and where we understand that it is just not good enough for where we need to go, for sure. I appreciated hearing not only from all the stories that are here on the mic, but also from my constituents that were here today on SSI limits, on respite care access, on the system that requires repayment in the end. right? And the challenges that are around that, and the changes in the life of everyone when we're keeping the healthcare for workers with disabilities in place and making sure that is safe and there. So thank you for bringing that voice. Thank you for making sure you're just not a line item in the budget, and making sure that we're hearing you and holding us accountable to making sure that your lives hold the meaning that we all know that it does. And thank you for enriching my life.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jorge Barón, and I have the privilege of representing District 4 on the King County Council. District 4 is the northwest part of Seattle. It's actually the only county council district that's entirely within the city of Seattle. And I'm honored to be here and represent the county council at this event. I just want to express deep gratitude for everybody who shared their stories tonight, and for all of you for being here this evening. So I have some sympathy for the hard decisions that my state legislator colleagues are going to have to make over the coming months. But I think one of the things that as we've grappled with some of the changes in the federal policies that we've discussed tonight, I think one thing that we keep talking about is the fact that people in the community don't really should care about where the funding comes from for the services that are provided, right? The important thing is about making sure that those services are available. And so while I think it's difficult and it's challenging to deal with these federal changes, I think we have a recognition and importance that even though we have difficult decisions to make, that we need to prioritize some of the people that we represent and the services that are provided, especially for being equitable in ensuring that we have inclusive services and we have services for everybody in the community. And so your stories tonight are deeply important in reminding us of all of that. So I really appreciate the time that you've taken to educate all of us and to advocate for ensuring that we have an equitable community here in Washington State and King County. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nicole Macri, and I represent the 43rd Legislative District, which is a district in Seattle that goes from about the Pike Place Market to the University of Washington campus. And it is an honor to be here, and it's really great to have come to several of these forums over many years and to get to know some folks from my district who come every single year. I really want to thank folks. I know we always say thank you for sharing your story. It is a big deal to share the details of your life just one-on-one with somebody you don't know, much less an elected official, much less to a big room of folks. So really, thank you. It means so much. It's so intimate and important. And I'm really honored that you all have shared your experiences both here on the mic and at the table with folks from my district. In the legislature, I work a lot on budget issues, so I'm hearing the need for resources and take it to heart. I actually work a lot on issues related to disability budget, issues related to services, a lot on healthcare and on housing. But I do want to say, the way the Washington State Legislature works, it really is a team effort. And so all the voices that you've heard before, all these great legislators who have spoken and the ones who are about to speak, I work very, very closely with them to make sure that we are bringing all of our strengths in education, in early learning, in housing, in home care services, in respite, and to make sure that we are building the policies and budget that will serve people in our own communities and in communities across the state. And your voices are so important to make sure that we do that well. So thank you so much for sharing, and continue to reach out to me and to others who represent you. So I really appreciate being here this evening.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sharon Tomago Santos, and I represent the 37th Legislative District. That area is central and southeast Seattle, as well as the unincorporated West Hills Skyway area of King County. Joining with my colleagues in saying thank you for your stories, I could pick up something from each of your stories. So let me just say Rachel and Nate, Destiny, Vivica, LaShayla, Sabah, and Mohad for Felice. You really not only touch our hearts with your stories, but you bring to life the policies that we have to grapple with in the legislature, which frankly, when you talk about policies, they're just words on paper. So it's these stories that we will carry with us into the legislature that bring those words to life. And I could not have said it better than Rachel when she said, none of you are a line item. None of you. I think for your information, what I wanted to share in order to keep everything brief is I'm very proud to serve as the chair of the House Education Committee. And so many of the issues that you've talked on about whether it is school to work transitions, I'm so proud of you. It sounds like you are working in the district that you graduated from. And that is so special. We are working on trying to make sure every student has the opportunity for a career, maybe even in the school district that they graduated from. The idea of ensuring that you provide the supports to students as they depart from our K-12 system into adulthood and hopefully into independent living, where they can not only have a job, but live on their own, to be able to be the best person that they can be and to fulfill their own dreams. These are all lessons that I learned. Some of you have heard me say this before, so I won't go into a great deal about it. These are all of the dreams and hopes that I heard as the daughter of a special education teacher. And I hold those lives and those friendships so deep in my heart. What I intend to focus in on and to elevate as the chair of the Education Committee is the civil and human rights of each and every student and their families in the state of Washington. And that means that we have to recognize that every one of the children and every one of the families that are served and are touched by our K-12 system has different needs, that need different supports. And yet, to deny those supports, to disregard those needs, is actually a violation of their constitutional civil right in the state of Washington and a denial of their human right as a member of our society. So with that umbrella, I continue to look forward to working with all of you, not only during the upcoming session, but in all the years to come. Thank you so much for being our president.
Very, very sad she couldn't be here with you tonight. I don't think she's ever missed one. She represents the 33rd district in South King County. She has been a strong advocate for language access and housing for the IDP community. She has a background in social work, and I know that behavioral health and mental health is very, very important to her. So you have her full support. Thank you for being here.